Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from class 3SC6, Faculty of Engineering, University of Indonesia. We want to presentation about our ISAS, Integrating IoT System for Smart Greenhouse. Let me introduce myself. My name is Jeni Kasturi. My partner is Kennan Fattahillah Herdyhanto. So, let's see our presentation. First, I will explain about the greenhouse. Greenhouse form an important part of the agriculture and gardening sectors in our country, as they can be used to grow plants under managed climatic conditions for optimum produce. Automate a greenhouse envisage observing and managing of the climatic parameters, which directly or indirectly govern the plant growth and hinge their produce. Still hand-operate greenhouse has some drawbacks like visual inspection of the plant growth, hand-operate irrigation of plants, turning on and off the temperature controllers, hand-operate spraying of fertilizers and pesticides. It is time-consuming, vulnerable to human error, and hence less accurate and unreliable. So, fully automated greenhouse is a best solution. Next, the objective of this ISAS are the first, understanding IoT implementation by looking into a real-world application. Second, information based on scientific paper research. Entitled Smart Greenhouse using IoT and Cloud Computing by International Research Journal of Engineering and Technology. And third, analyzing the usage, data flow, and mechanism of the IoT system. Next, I will explain about Internet of Things. Internet of Things, or what is commonly called IoT, is a concept that aims to expand the benefits of continuously connected Internet connectivity, as for abilities such as data sharing, remote control, including objects in the real world. Next, presence of IoT in real world. The presence of IoT in the real world is very influential for human life and can also help easy human work. For example, in the products below, the first smart wristband to measure a heart rate and count movement steps. And second, smart thermostat to controlling a home's heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. And the third, smart home to monitor and or control home attributes such as lighting, climate, entertainment system, and appliances. And last, environment monitoring to monitoring environment parameters change in a farmland to produce high quality harvest. Apart from the products mentioned, there are still many other IoT products that have been created for human life. Next, I will explain about cloud computing. Cloud computing is the delivery of computing service including servers, storage, database, networking, software, analytics, and intelligence over the internet to offer faster innovation, flexible research, and economies of scale. IoT solution should connect and allow communication between things, people, and processes, and cloud computing plays a critical role in this collaboration to create high visibility. Internet of Things system generates an enormous amount of data per second. It does not only help speed up the development process but can also cut down on development costs. For instance, there are few organizations that provides a cloud computing service. There are Microsoft Azure, Amazon Web Service, and Google Cloud. Next, there are sensors, microcontroller, and actuator. Sensors are devices that detect an event from the physical environment and respond with electrical or optical signals as output. There are sensors that measure like moisture, motion, pressure, temperature, or other environmental properties. For instance, the sensor that will fit or use in this ISAS are soil moisture sensor, measure the volumetric water content in soil, temperature sensor, measure the warmness or cold of an object, and sunlight sensor, detect whether it is dark or light. Microcontroller. Microcontroller is a very simplified computer that processes a signal from sensors. It also responsible to send a signal to the actuator. And the next is actuator is a component of a machine that is responsible for moving and controlling a mechanism or system. And next will be explained by my partner Kennan Fattahillah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Kennan and I'm from Group 11. In this section, I want to explain about the implementation of IoT system in a greenhouse. First, we have a few goals in this IoT system. By implementing IoT system, we want to monitoring microclimate parameters in a greenhouse. For example, we want to monitor the temperature, soil moisture, and sunlight. And then we want to increase the control performance accurately and reducing human intervention. And then we want to maximize and maintain the production quality of our harvest. Next, I want to explain about the data flow from our sensors to our Raspberry Pi and to the cloud service. First, in this left side, we have our sensors. There are soil moisture sensor, temperature sensor, and sunlight sensor. And then from this sensor, they will detect a physical event and then send those data to our Raspberry Pi. Our Raspberry Pi is responsible to get the data, whether it should immediately send the data to our cloud service or the Raspberry Pi will save or manipulate the data and then send the data to our cloud service. And finally, from our cloud service, we can access those data from our application. We can control and monitor the IoT system remotely from our application. We can use mobile application or web application. And then, in this slide, I want to explain why cloud service is really fit to our IoT system. First, to be specific, we are using a storage service from a cloud service provider. We are also using an analytical tool. Because of the IoT system generate huge amount of data periodically, it is important to store the data in a cloud service. Why? Because cloud service are flexible about the space that we need, depends on what we need. For example, we can pay a cloud service for a specific amount of data depend our needs. The Raspberry Pi will send the data to our cloud service or storage service, and then users applications such as mobile application or web application could fetch those data from our cloud service into the application remotely. It is also important that users can access the data anywhere to monitor the greenhouse in a real time. And finally, we should analyze the data. Analyzing the data, we can transform and visualize the data with a third-party application, ThinkSpeak. We can finally see the meaningful of our data in a graph, and by doing this, we can finally make decision to produce high quality and consistent harvest from our greenhouse by analyzing the data. And our final thoughts about IoT system, that IoT system could controlling the greenhouse in a real time, anywhere, and we could see the record of past production because all the data are stored in our cloud service. It also reducing a human error and increasing the accurate control of the product. since we are using a sensors, so it should be accurate. And cloud service could save us for maintenance of the physical device and lowering production costs. Why? Because we don't need to buy a server or something like that in our organization. We just pay cloud service provider for specific our needs, and then we can make best decision and prediction from generate huge amount of data by analyze the data and visualize the data. I think that's all. Thanks for your time and attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.